So here we are doing the second stage of the video. Lisa wanted me to show you the decorations that our family in 1994. The Pig-In collection from England. Souvenirs from our visit to United States. So there has been a very sad reality check since we did the last section. We had a water delivery in Manila. The water company tells you that the water you get from your faucet or tap is drinkable, but nobody believes them. So everyone has filtered water delivered, and our regular chap came last time. I remember it well because he had been forced out of his housing by Typhoon Ondoy, living across the other side of Manila. So I gave him a couple of $100 pesos for extra travel expenses, and then he didn't speak any English, but I followed him outside, and there was a stray dog there, so I put a bowl of water there for him, and we both tried to get the dog to drink the water. Now this time he didn't turn up, so Lita said to the new chap, where is Manon? And the man said he died. She said, why? And it was leptospirosis, which is something that you get. You see, he had been back to his house by the river, which had been destroyed, and he must have been treading in muddy water or stagnant water, and this is how you get it. If he had a wound on his foot, he would have absorbed the virus or bacteria, whatever it is, and it killed him very quickly. There's 130 people in Manila died of it recently. Anyway, to get back to my careers officer, he asked me what I wanted to do. I was age 16 and I said I wanted to be a writer, and he said, well, that means going to learn journalism, and although you may well cope with the academic work, you have to be outgoing and quite forceful and persistent in your work. So he discouraged me from that and said, what other alternatives? I said, surveying. I would like to be a surveyor, and okay, that was all set up. I had an interview with the Ordnance Surveyor, and I got a place starting at college in about 9 months' time. Meanwhile, I did various temporary jobs. I worked at an apple farm, a soft drink bottling company. I was assistant to an electrical engineer, and I worked at a hop farm. And then when I got to learning the ropes of surveying, it all went quite well. I enjoyed it. But there were times when I was lonely, really. You worked on your own quite a lot, and I would spend some of the time just lying down doing absolutely nothing. When I would arrive home in the evening after the college, I would sit on my bed and do absolutely nothing. So I developed into the sort of guy who stuck out like a sore thumb. So some of these instructors would come up to me and say, Martin, is there anything wrong? And I said, no. And then another one would come up to me and say, Martin, if there's anything you want to talk to us about, just let us know, we're here to help. And at that time I had no idea. I did not know what to say. So nothing happened. I went and got my placement in Stafford, working as a surveyor. I bought a van to travel around in, and gradually, again, I became more and more withdrawn. I sometimes couldn't step out of the van to start doing my work, and I found that I couldn't go out and socialise. I was spending a lot of time in my room on my own or just watching TV. The only good time, I think, was when I watched the Group 3 down at Stafford Art College. This was before they had the hit with All Right Now. There was a load of hip, groovy students sitting down on the floor looking cool, and I was standing up and nodding my head and clicking my fingers. It was probably the best night I had. But apart from that, I was just getting more and more pissed off, and I gave the job up. My friend Jeff Boyce offered me another surveying job. And he said, try this, and the first thing that happened was I was sent off to Manchester, hundreds of miles away, building a road, you know, stuck in mud all the time, and trying to use a theodolite, which I had no idea about, and I just walked off it. I got back in the van and I arrived at home in tears and said, Mum, I made a terrible mess of things. And the next couple of years were just you know, temporary jobs again. I think I was squashing blackcurrants to make Ribena, a laundry worker, and eventually what happens if you're unemployed or doing lots of temporary jobs in England, you get sent on a government training course. I got sent on a government training course for clerical and commercial workers, and boy, were they an odd bunch of weirdos, misfits, alcoholics. I was only 20 years old, and again, the only time I went out was to have a walk by the canal, or I would listen to Bob Harris on the radio in my room. And I had a crying incident at home with my mum once. She said, I think you need to go and see the doctor. And when I saw the doctor in Bath, she diagnosed me with depression, and I was tried with an antidepressant, of course, which did nothing. So I went back and she tried me on another antidepressant, and I got as high as a kite. I was happy all the time, and I couldn't sleep. So I went back again and said, these are no good. She tried me on another sort. So there we are, that's the story of psychiatric drugs for you. I got to the end of my course and reached the age of 21, which is supposed to open the key of the door into adulthood, and I felt a total failure. I spent my 21st birthday in my room at home with my mum and dad. I got all of the tablets together, which had mounted up because they'd not worked and I'd stopped taking them. I took the whole bloody lot. And I think my mum must have had a shock in the morning, because she called the ambulance. I was in a coma, and they took me to hospital at Hereford. Stomach pumped me, and I was sent to the local psychiatric hospital, St Mary's at Burgh Hill, which was in a very pleasant position, one of these lovely old Victorian buildings with large grounds. And I was allowed to wander the grounds. I was allowed a fair amount of freedom. But But of course, after a few weeks of that, oh, by the way, the diagnosis at that point was mild schizophrenia. So it had changed from depression to mild schizophrenia. And Mum found me a job. 10 minutes is up again, so we shall continue with my new job very soon. Bye.